Well, as you can see from the text that I loaded up on the first 4 seconds of this, the sound, unfortunately, with my GoPro was not very good, and it was very muffled, and it seemed like the only thing that it really was picking up was any stuff that I was clanking up against it and stuff. So it was just terrible audio. But basically, I'm talking about I'm at the trailhead at Pine Cobble in is it Williamsport, Mass, and getting prepared to get up the trail. So I had taken my time that morning getting there and stuff. My brother-in-law was very kind and dropped me off. But as you can see, we're getting ready to head up this trail, and it's not very long, and it gets you to the top of the ridge that connects you to the AT, which then takes you to the Vermont border. But as you can see, the sign coming up here is called, Pine Cobble Trail. And pretty much it's just, as soon as you get started, you're going straight uphill for the next, I'd say 1 to 1.8 miles straight up the hill. And then it'll kind of dump you into the AT. So as you can see, you'll kind of see it's kind of rocky, and at this point it's not very steep, but it gets steep pretty quick here in a few minutes.
After hiking about 1.82 miles, I'm reaching the top of Pine Cobble.
At this point, I'm reaching the top of the ridge along Pine Cobble. And as you can see, as the trail kind of gets to the top of the ridge, it pops out on this very rocky outcropping, which is pretty cool. My son and I had hiked it, did a section hike 2 years previous to this, and when we got to the top of this area, it was completely fogged in, so we didn't get the views, but we were fascinated by all the rocks, the cairns and stuff like that. But at this junction, we're getting incredibly close to the main Appalachian Trail, which then you travel along it for a little while to actually get to the Vermont border. So it's coming up here after a little bit of views, and you'll get to see it here in a bit. Okay, so now we're reaching the actual AT, and here's the signs on the trail. These are typical signs of the trail, but as you can see, I'm officially on the AT at this point, and this will take me to the Vermont border, where you'll see the official LT sign, or Long Trail sign. So let's keep going. At At this point, I've hiked along the AT for a bit, and now I'm coming up on the signs for the Mass border, and of course, a little further down the trail is the Long Trail sign that everybody basically takes their picture in front of, and of course I did as well. So as you can see, as we walk along here a little bit, you see some of the boulders and stuff like that that are along the trail that are very unique to some of the sections of Vermont. But here's the sign that everybody looks to get to, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting when you get to it. So needless to say, I was enjoying myself and preparing myself for the next 273 miles. As you can tell from some of the video footage that you've been watching, once you get past the Vermont border, it's really nice trail. It's there's a lot of ups and downs. I mean, it's a pretty hilly trail. I mean, but the southern portion's less mountainous than the northern sections of Vermont. But it was a really super nice day. My first day out, it was close to 70 degrees. It was probably right in that range of 65 to 70, and fairly sunny day. Got a little cloudier in the afternoon and ended up raining that night and stuff. But it was just a real nice day to be hiking and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed myself all day. I have a funny little spot coming up where I videotaped some stuff. You'll see it here in a few seconds, but there are some huge boulders along the trail and stuff like that, and you'll see here in a minute where I basically try to show the size of this boulder by standing in front of it and stuff. So as you can see, it's pretty funny, but it's just amazing that in the middle of the trail, here's this massive rock. Keep on following the devil, he's a rambling man. As you can see, I'm kind of videotaping myself as I hike along, but I'm sure I'm talking about the trail or the weather or something along those lines. But one of the things that kind of drew me to hike the Long Trail was the fact that it's the oldest trail in the U.S. It was the first original long distance hiking trail, and it was inspiration for the Appalachian Trail, and the first 105 miles of the Long Trail are shared with the Appalachian Trail. So if you hike the Appalachian Trail, you're hiking the first 105 miles of the Long Trail, and they split off just a little ways after you cross over near Rutland. And then the Appalachian Trail will head east towards New Hampshire, while the Long Trail continues to the Canadian border. But at this point, it's getting late in the day. I'm coming up on Congdon Shelter, and as you get close to it, it just follows along this really nice stream and stuff like that. Typical Vermont stream in the middle of the woods, but you'll see it here in a little bit. As you keep following the video, the shelter is kind of the last one before you kind of cross over a ridge and then down a very steep section of the trail to Route 9, and that's where I finished up for the day. I crossed over Route 9 and then set up and went from there.